Hello and welcome to the Hobby Corner. My name's Kev, and in this episode I'm going to be answering some questions thrown at me by Mr. Spud from the Chilling Wargamers. Spin that intro! Beep, 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 doo, 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 beep, 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 beep. Alright, so Spud from the Chilling Wargamers has challenged me to answer a few questions about the channel, myself, and what we see in the future, and some tips as well. So without further ado, let's get to it. Question 1. What got me into the hobby? It's a blurry time. It's a very misty time. It's a very confusing time. Very fast-paced time. It is somewhere in the mid to late 90s, and I remember my uncle was very much into fantasy and role playing and sci-fi and stuff like that. He really did help encourage me and my brother. We get video games and stuff like that, so he was very much on that side of things. And I remember this board game that he got me and my brother interested in. I can't remember what it was called, but it was really weird. It was like you had like a fortress wall on one side and a fortress wall on the other side. You had catapults and cannons. I think they were cannons. And you also had troops on both the walls and also on the board. And you had to try and get to the other side. And you used the catapults and that to blast holes in the walls and knock the troops off the walls and try and open the gate. And get the troops on the board. It was really, really fun. What really got us into things, because he sort of like, that was sort of like getting us into weird sort of medieval-esque fantasy sort of board games. And then he got Hero Quest. Now a lot of people will say that either Warhammer Quest or Hero Quest got them into the hobby. I happen to be of that generation. Well, I seem to be on the edge of that generation, on the younger side of things. But I remember, yeah, these little skeletons had these little goblins, and had like Chaos Warrior, and then you had the Barbarian, the Elf, the Mage, the Dwarf, and yeah, no, that was really good fun. We only ever played it a couple of times. But I just assumed that he played it a lot with his mates. And yeah, that sort of started off something, because he let me and my brother pick one of the baddies to keep. And I took a skeleton, and my brother, he took a Fimir, which was cool. Yeah, and that's why it all started, really, because we also got to take the little pamphlet. There was a little pamphlet inside, and it had information from Games Workshop about all these ranges and stuff, and it said how you can paint these things using a very few select paints, by the way, right, to achieve this amazing paint job on the models, because it all came as colored plastic, but you could paint it if you wanted, if you had the skill. And it showed you the result. It never gave you information on how to do it or anything. And obviously, a lot of the paints that were used to do those showcase pieces weren't actually listed. But yeah, that just set our imagination alight. Fast forward a couple of years, my granddad, he knew that we sort of like that sort of thing, and he saw that there was Games Workshop in Harrow, because he went there now and then to get some bits and pieces. So one day he takes me and my brother up there, and he lets us have a look around, and we're like, whoa, seeing all these boxes of amazing miniatures, the little showcase in the window, and yeah, that was it. We instantly fell in love. We were given a small budget. I think it was like £10. Yeah, it's like, all right, you got £10, pick a box that you can share, and you know. So we looked hard, and the one we ended up getting was this starter paint set, and it had some Lizardmen warriors in it and some paints, and we got that so that was sort of around the era when Warhammer Fantasy still had the Bretonians versus Lizardmen starter box, and I believe that that Warhammer 40,000 was in its second edition. Anyway, we got home, put them together, start painting them up. Our grand's like, "Oh yeah, it's great," and yeah, we really loved it. It was great, and that sort of just started the whole process off. And then, of course, fast forward on a bit longer, and then our first proper starter box, and this was, I think, like, you know, with some birthday money. Must have been about 9 or 10 at the time. And third edition Warhammer 40,000 was out, and it was Black Templars versus Dark Elders. It was like, whoa. And it came with a little bit of terrain as well, and it was just amazing. We got it, and we had to look in the store copy of the book and of the rule book, and we was just like, whoa. We did a little play of the practice game, really good. So we got the box and we went home, and boom, we did that. And we both sort of kept it ticking over now and then. You know, we got the stuff out, we messed around. We didn't really use the rules because, you know, we were still quite young, and following the rules, there was a lot of rules to go over, but we knew the basics of moving and shooting and hitting each other in combat. And then as the years roll by, Lord of the Rings strikes. Whoa. And that's where it really kicked up a notch. The second question, what got you into YouTubing? Whenever I was like doing my hobby in the shop or whatever, you know, you always ask the staff for help and stuff like that. And they're always willing to help. But sometimes they were a bit too busy, and you had to be patient, especially on the busier days as well. And then I started getting to a point in the hobby where those questions, I could answer those questions. So I was helping the newer people who you know, were just getting started and stuff, and I'll show you how it's done, and we'll do it together. I've got a spare model, and we'll do it, and you do it on yours, and go like that. And you know, it's really gratifying to see someone learn like that, because at the end of the day, the most important aspect of this hobby is the community. It's the community around you. Without the community, there is no support for the hobby. There is no support for the art. There is no support for the gaming side of things. And you have no one else to talk about it, to share your ideas, to share your passion. So that was, you know, sort of the hint of what I wanted, kind of what I wanted to do. But at that time, didn't really have the means to do it. Fast forward about 10 years, and YouTube starts kicking off. But I didn't really think of doing that, to be honest. It just didn't it wasn't on the cards for me. Fast forward again, another 10-ish years. So yeah, I started to do my hobby again. Me and my mates were playing a lot of PlayStation, and on the PS4 you can record your gameplay and then edit it, and we thought, hey, it would be great if we started up a little channel thing, and it could be on Twitch, or we could just upload on YouTube, and it could just be of all the stupid stuff that we do and say while we're playing. And it was good fun. We did a lot of Fortnite stuff, and uploaded it. I kind of had to remove that from my channel because I wanted to specify on the hobby side of things. But we sort of wanted to do a thing where one did gaming, one did hobby, and the other one did book and movie reviews. But you know, time constraints, work, life all went away, and the other two friends just couldn't keep up or do it. So I ploughed on ahead anyway, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do it. So I did a couple of test videos, and it was painting some skeleton warriors from the Start Collecting Skeleton Horde box, just to sort of get the kinks out of it. And my god, I saw them before I deleted, because I had to free up so much space on my laptop. I had so many videos on there, and it was just really bad. You couldn't even see what I was doing. But my first actual released video, the purple sun that came in the magic box, and I saw online there was a lot of people complaining about having difficulties with the purple sun model. Got to have a look at the kit myself because I got it on release as well, and I thought, you know what, I could actually help a lot of people if I did a little video of this. I know how to do it now. So yeah, I did a little video on how to put the whole thing together, because it was a push fit kit. Push fit was still quite new to everyone, so how to use it, how to build it was, you know, it was a new way of doing the hobby, and it was a new skill set. It wasn't perfect, so the pins would sort of jam in the sockets before they were flush. So that it was either because the sockets were too tight or they become airlocked, which meant that you had a little cushion of air in there that stopped the pin going all the way to the end. So I did a little video on it, and yeah, it was a very small success, but it was a success nonetheless, and I really enjoyed the fact that people found it helpful. And then I was like, okay, so what do I do now? Of the rest of the kit you don't need help with, is all very easy stuff. So Warhammer 40,000 Conquest happened, and that was it. That was my perfect gateway. I saw a lot of people gearing up to doing the whole thing, from, you know, this is the issue, do a little opening preview, this is what you get, talk through it, and then show you the end product. And I didn't really see anyone go through the actual building steps and the actual painting steps and explain it in a way that new people can, you know, get their head around. Because the magazines were good, by no means perfect, but they were good enough to give you the information that you needed. But there were tips that were missing from it that would have been useful at those stages to make your life a lot easier and just speed things up for you. So using my 20 plus years of experience doing the hobby, I thought, yeah, there we go. And that was it basically. So yeah, at the end of the day, it's always been about just walking people through the information that is provided, but with a bit of an expansion to it, a bit of added experience, diluting that information just so it's a bit more digestible, and just giving a few extra handy tips as well. And also just sharing what everyone does in the community as well, because at the end of the day, that's the number one thing about this hobby, it's the community. So that's why I do my community focuses in my videos as well. Question 3. Where do you see yourself or your channel in 5 years' time? Well, shoo, 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 rolling in that sweet YouTube advert money. No, seriously. Well, I mean, the channel is taken over very nicely. It's doing a hell of a lot better than I ever thought it would. And yeah, I've created an amazing little community around it, and it's full of amazing people, and each and every one of them are appreciated. And honestly, I don't know where I'll be in 5 years' time, because anything could happen. But what I would like to see for the channel is it to continue to grow, but with that solid base. You know, I don't want people just subscribing for subs, or you know, subscribing but never watching anything. I want people to be invested in the channel. I want people to come to the channel because it helps them in their hobby, it helps them feel more included in the community, and it helps sort of spread that positivity about the hobby. That's also why I you know, I have done joint works, like, you know, with the Conquest videos. I teamed up with Big Mac Dan Skull, so he did the reviews, and then I could focus on building and painting stuff, which let's face it, I hit burnout so hard on that. I'm still doing them. Yeah, then I joined the Chilling Wargamers network, which is absolutely amazing, full of amazing guys, and it's all part of just sharing that information, sharing that community, sharing that love to the community and for the hobby. And I just want to continue doing that. And if the channel can get to a point where it can sustain itself financially, through, yeah, hell, if it's just through the advertising, I mean, I still got to get to 1,000. Only 230 odd subs left. Yeah, so keep subbing. But yeah, you know, all the money making sort of side of things, you know, it's just there to help the financial part of the channel, because of course all the time and energy that goes into running the channel is done for free. It's done out of the love of the hobby, and everything that's used and shown and showcased is straight from my pocket. So for me to get to that point where it can sustain itself financially, I'd be well over the moon. I'm not looking to be one of these influencers. I'm not looking to make huge amounts of money, because if I was going to, then I wouldn't be following the beginning guides in magazines. I'd be doing more than that. So yeah, in 5 years I'd like to keep doing what I'm doing, just better. Question 4. Advice for someone starting on YouTube. Well, I can't really pick out one thing. There's quite a few things really, so I'll try and be brief, but I will try to be as informative as possible. So the first thing is, don't do it for the money. Don't do it for the money. You will more than likely not make any money, and if you do, it won't be for a long time. YouTube is a very fickle thing. The algorithm changes a lot. What people like to watch and the content that's provided is a very tricky thing to keep up with. And there are quite a few big YouTubers out there already, pretty much doing everything out there. So except what I do, of course, because, you know. Yeah. What you want to do is try and go around to all of the big YouTubers, see what they're doing, and find your niche. Find something that you're happy and passionate about, and then see if they're doing it. And if they are doing it, see if they're doing it in the way that you do it. See if they're doing it in the way that you like to do it. If not, that's your niche. But yeah, you got to be doing it for the love of it. You can't do it just for a quick money making scheme, because it won't work. You also got to pace yourself. I tried for a long time. I think it's like the first 6 months of YouTubing, I was trying to do 2 or 3 videos a week. Editing videos takes a long time, especially if it's from painting stuff, because painting doesn't always take just an afternoon or an evening. It can take a couple of evenings, and you got to keep an eye on what you're filming. You got to keep it short and sweet, so that when it comes to editing, you can cut it down faster and you have less film to run through. Doing that, it takes a lot of time. So yeah, pace yourself, have a plan. Sort of, I don't really plan things. I try to plan things. I kind of have half a plan in my head half the time, and most of the time it don't work. But what I try to do is sort of think to myself, okay, what do I want to do over the next 2 weeks, say, and then plan it out. And then I'll try and record that stuff as quickly as I can, but I make sure that I break up those nights that I'm doing that hobby and I'm doing that editing with family time, because you can't neglect your family, or if you don't have your own spouse and children, then think about your friends, your close friends. Do something. Go out, walk outside, whatever. Just always have breaks in between that, because that ties into the next bit, which is burnout. That is what I'm talking about. Oh my god, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Or maybe I got burnout. Right, so basically, plan out what you want to do in a couple of weeks. Try and film what you can steadily and just edit on the go. Don't leave it all in one go because you're going to feel overwhelmed. So yeah, do it for the love of it. Find the niche that you're happy with, that you enjoy. No, make sure that you have plenty of time outside of it so you don't get burned out, and pace yourself. I think that's fine. Oh man, I've got a lot of editing to do myself now. Anyway, I hope that's satisfied Spud, because apparently I was scared to do this. I have enjoyed it though. It's a good walk down memory lane, and it has sort of opened up some things, and I think I might actually take some of my own advice there, because I don't, but I should. So yeah, before I go, I do have to nominate 3 other YouTubers. So I'm going to nominate my old pal Big Mac Dan Skull. Be interesting to see what he comes out with. A new man on the block, which has really done well for himself. He surpassed what I've done in a fraction of the time, and I'm totally not jealous. I swear I am not jealous. But Ministry of Warhammer, because you got a fantastic channel going, man, and I want to know what got you into it as well. And of course Spect, because I've enjoyed his stuff as well. He's a nice guy and I want to know his story as well. So that's it. Big Mac Dan Skull, Ministry of Warhammer, Spect. I'm expecting some replies very soon, and you can blame Spud from the Chilling Wargamers for this. So that's it for now. I'm going to leave it there. I've waffled on way too much. So if you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments below what got you involved in your hobby, and if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button, the like button, the share button, and also plenty of those fantastic groups down there which feature other YouTubers too, so they're well worth going to check out. And that's that for now. So until next time, peace.